part 2 of this video series regarding VORs and how VORs work, what are inbound, outbound radials, interceptions, etc. In part 1 we discussed the VOR constitution. I really highly recommend that you go back and watch the first part because we're going to rely on a lot of the concepts we introduced in part 1 to explain how to intercept outbound radials in this video. And I would really appreciate it if you do not forget, if you have not subscribed yet, to press the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified when I go live or when I post a new video. And I really do appreciate you watching my videos, and please don't hesitate to leave a comment if you have any questions or any requests or anything. Just comment below the video and I'm gonna answer as soon as possible and try to accommodate any requests for future videos. Alright, so without further ado, we're gonna get started. Let's assume we have a VOR station right here in the center. We have radials coming out as we discussed before. So I have, for example, here the 360 radial, 045 radial, 090 radial, 135 radial, 180 radial, 225 radial, 270 radial, and 315 radial right here. And let's say we want to intercept a radial. Let's start with something simple and very straightforward. Let's say we want to intercept, for example, let's say radial 360 outbound. Okay, so we want to intercept this radial right here, outbound. Right, so the way to do this, if you're not given vectors by etc to intercept, that we need to find out first where we are. Okay, so I'm going to assume that based on what you watched in the first part, Article 2 of the VOR's constitution, the from and to, whether you on plus or minus 90 degrees from the VOR or more than that, and of course the concept of inbound outbound radials, which is Article 4. So if we are anywhere, let's say here, on the opposite side, so we're going to get a 2 indication when we find out, when we actually set that radial that we want to intercept, we're going to get a 2 indication if we are on the opposite side. So all we need to do in this case is fly parallel to that radial, like this, for example, or like this, for example, until we are A-beam the station, okay, like here or here. Then we're going to go 45 degrees to intercept that outbound radial, like this. Okay, so this is the method. If I am on the opposite side, I'm going to go parallel to the radial until I'm A-beam to the station, and then I'm going to go 45 degrees to the radial and intercept. If I am on this side here, so I have a from indication, in that case I would like to go just 45 degrees to the radial, intercept. Okay, so I will go just like this, intercept, and the radial, and just track it like this. Let's say, for example, I need to intercept any other radial. Let's say I want to intercept radial 045 outbound. So I want to intercept this radial outbound. Again, I'm going to pick that radial with the omni-bearing selector on the HSI or on the CDI. If I have a 2 indication, that means I am on this side. I am more than 90 degrees, plus or minus 90 degrees from the radial. So I need to fly parallel to it until the flag switches from to from, which means I'm crossing over to the green side. So I am now here, and then I'll fly 45 degrees and intercept. 45 degrees and intercept. That's it. That's it. All right. So if we wanna summarize the steps, assuming of course that you have already identified the VOR station using the Morse code, or using the 3-letter identifier if you have a fancy G1000, for example. So this is what I'm going to do. Step number 1, set the target radial using the OBS, the omni-bearing selector. That is step number 1. Step number 2, I'm going to have 2 scenarios. If I have a 2 indication or if I have a from indication. If I have a 2 indication, fly parallel to the selected radial until the flag switches from to from. Step number 2, then fly 45 degrees to the selected radial to intercept. That's it. If I have a from indication, just fly 45 degrees to the selected radial to intercept. And that's it, folks. Just go ahead now and apply this in the cockpit of an aircraft. Alright, and here we are now. We're flying a Skyhawk Cessna 172 in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we are now in Southern California in the vicinity of John Wayne Airport. That's Kilo Sierra November Alpha, KSNA, and the Seal Beach VOR. We have the Seal Beach frequency tuned in on nav1, that's 115.7, and we can identify it using the audio panel right here by pressing on nav1, and we'll listen to the Morse code. And that is correct. It matches the Morse code that we have here, so that's good. Alright, and we can find out first where we are easily, just following the methods we discussed earlier in the previous video, in the VOR's Constitutions video. That was Article 3 of the VOR Constitution. That, please, I advise you go back to Part 1 if you've missed that. So I just need to center the needle with a from indication to know which radial I am on right now. So I'm going to rotate the OBS, Omni Bearing Selector, until I get a from indication. Right now there is a to indication, and I need a from indication. Here's the flag now, switches to from, and center that needle. And here we go, try to center the needle. Okay, here's the needle center. That's about 165. So currently I am on radial 165. Physically, I'm on that radial. So I am southeast of the VOR station. So let's say, for example, I'm told by ATC intercept radial, for example, 330 outbound. Okay, well, let's follow the method we just discussed. I'm just going to use the Omni Bearing Selector to set 330. Now I have a to flag. Here we go. And if I have a to flag, the method says, okay, first thing I need to do is to fly that same direction, or the same, track if I can, with a wind correction. But we can fly in the vicinity, or in that pretty much in that direction. So we fly 330, and I'm supposed to fly that heading with the wind correction, obviously, until the flag switches. What do I mean by the flag switches? The flag is going to switch from to from when I cross over to the other side. And if I do that, then after that I'll fly 45 degrees to the selected radial. What is 45 degrees to the selected radial? If the radial is going to be on my right, as you can see here. So in that case, 45 degrees to this, here's the marker, right here. Right here. So approximately, just look at it. It's here you go, at 45 degrees, and just look here. Somewhere in the middle. I would fly maybe 015, 020, that is fine. And I fly in that direction because the radial is on the right until I intercept the radial. Okay, so good. So step number 1, we're flying 330 until the flag switches. We'll be right back. Okay, and I just fast forward a little bit in the video. Until here we go, the flag now just switched from to from. Then I'm going to fly 45 degrees to the radial, so I will fly maybe in this direction about 015 or so. Okay, so I turn right now. Here we go, here's the marker. And I will fly in that direction until the radial starts coming towards me, and then I will just catch it by turning and tracking radial 330 outbound. Alright, then here you go, the radial starts to move. And one thing we didn't discuss last time, what each of one of these markers means. This is a full 10 degrees, and you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is the edge. So that's 2 degrees per mark. And here you go. It's coming now to me, so I'm going to start turning left slowly. as it's coming close to me. Here we go. And I try to catch that radial 330 outbound. Here you go, it's coming. I keep turning left, try to catch it. It's still a little bit on the right. It's coming to me right now. Here we go. And pretty much now the needle is centered from my perspective, and I will fly now and track that radial outbound. That's it, folks. That's it. That's all we had to do. And now we are tracking radial 330 outbound. And look, even it shows here that you are now on radial 329er. Yeah, pretty much radial 330. Alright, so now let's go ahead and do another example. Let's say we want to intercept, let's say radial 060 outbound. Okay, well, in that case, I go ahead and pick, I need to find out where I am. That's not hard. It's just all I need to do is a from indication. And center the needle. Here's a from and needle center. We're about radial 355 right now. Makes sense. And yep, you can see we are in radial 355. Right, so let's say I want to intercept now radial 060 outbound. So okay, so I pick 060 with the Omni bearing selector. Here's 060, and what indication do I have? I have a from indication. That's it. So if I have a from indication, all I need to do is fly 45 degrees to the selected radial. I'm selecting 060, 45 degrees to the selected radial. Just look here. You don't need to do any math or anything. All right, so about 100, 105 is good enough. Here you go. So we fly go ahead that heading. Until the radial starts moving towards me, and then I can go ahead and intercept. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit until we get to the point when we can see that the needle is moving. We'll be right back. And here you go, you can see the needle started to move. It's moving very slowly because we are far from the VOR right now. You can see this is about, we're about 26 nautical miles away. And that's why it's going to move very slowly. So we're going to go ahead fast forward as it comes closer, and we're going to go ahead and intercept the radial. And here we go, radial is here, moving very, very slowly. So I'm going to go ahead now and turn slowly to 060. So I catch radial, intercept, and track radial 060 outbound. Alright folks, we're back again with another example, and let's say that we need to intercept radial 270 outbound. Okay, well, I mean, I can just find out where I am. I need a from indication with the needle centered, find out where I am. Here's the from indication, here's the from flag, and I keep turning the OBS until here we go. Alright, so it looks like right now I'm on radial maybe 325, 320. So I am northwest of Seal Beach VOR, and I want to intercept radial 270 outbound. Okay, so in that case, I'll pick 270 right here. What flag do I have? I have a from flag. So I need just to fly 45 degrees to the selected radial. What is 45 degrees? Take a look at this. Just ballpark it. Here we go. It's about what? 225 right here. You could just fly 225. So we're going to fly heading 225 to the right. There we go. And that's it. We fly until the lead, that 225, until the needle starts coming close to us. And then we go ahead and turn and catch radial 270 outbound. And with that, I'll be right back. I'll fast forward so you can see what happens. Okay, and we're back again. You can see now the needle is starting to move. We're about 14 miles out. So it's going to move not too fast, but not too slow if you're out more. Just remember, obviously, that these indications, each marker means 2 degrees from the selected radial. So right now we should be on radial, maybe about 5 degrees on the right of the radial, so radial 275 or so. So now the needle is moving, and I'm gonna start turning to 270 to catch that radial as it gets closer, anticipating the speed that it's moving. Look, it's still moving very slowly. I don't need to turn right now, okay? I'm gonna catch it when I'm very close to it. because it's moving very, very slowly. There it is. There it is. I'm about to get there. I'm about to cross that radial. I'm about to be on that radial, but I want to track it. Here we go. And now I'm going to turn 270 and catch it. Here we go. Now I'm turning there. And now I'm tracking radial 270. Needle centered from indication. Outbound. I'm ready to radial 270 outbound. You can see I'm on radial 270 right here. And that's pretty much it, folks. So to summarize, I go ahead and I can find out where I am very easily by having a from indication and the needle center. That gives me an indication where I am: southeast, southwest, north, northeast, northwest of the station, etc. And that's it. Just use the only bearing selector to select the radial you want to intercept. If you have a 2 indication, fly that same direction until the flag switches, then fly 45 degrees to the radial till you intercept it. If you have a from indication, means you are on that side of the radial, so just fly 45 degrees to it and intercept it. And that's it. So again, we'll be right back, this time with an HSI. Maybe we'll use a G1000 unit and do the same thing to illustrate how to do this with an HSI. And HSI obviously will give you a much better visual indication, or that's what's called HSI, horizontal situation indicator. You'll be able to see it, to see where the radial is with respect to you a little bit easier than using a standard CDI. And we'll be right back. Right, folks, welcome back. Now we are in a Cessna Skyhawk C-172 with a G1000. Just wanted to show how to use the HSI, do the same thing we've done before. Okay, and let's say now that we want to intercept radial 270 outbound. Right, to find out where I am, like we said before, I just need from indication and the needle centered. In the G1000 unit, it has a very cool feature. If you press here, right here, it centers the needle with a 2 indication, but I need a from indication, so all I need to do is click to look at the tail, which is opposite of the 2, right? So if I press this right here, the needle gets centered, okay, and I am at the tail, so I should be on radial right now about 140 or so immediately at this moment. Now it's changing, obviously, because I'm crossing it. So I'm southeast of the station. All right, that's fine. Or I can just keep turning until I get a from indication on the HSI. And I would explain to you what a from looks like here. It looks a little bit tricky, a little bit different. Okay, so here, you know that you have a from indication if the bearing you're selecting, course 146, and this little arrow are in the opposite direction. That is a from. When they're both in the same direction, that is a 2. All right, so I am here right now. I know right now I'm in radial, right now crossing almost radial 150. Anyways, I need to intercept radial 270 outbound. Okay, that's fine. So I will go ahead now and select with the Omni bearing selector, or the course here, this course, I'm going to select 270. And we follow the same rules we followed from before. Okay, look at this right now. I have a 2 indication. Why? Because this, the course I'm selecting and this little arrow are in the same direction. So I need to fly parallel, or the same direction, as the selected course until this flag switches from to from. And then I'll fly 45 degrees to the radial I need to intercept. Here we go. So I'll fly right now in the same direction as the selected radial until the flag switches from to from. I'll be right back. I'll fast forward a little bit until the flag switches. Okay, so we're back now. We're very close. And we're waiting for the flag to switch from to from, as we had discussed. It should do that any moment now. And there it is. It just switched. That means I crossed now over to the other side. So I need to fly 45 degrees to selected radial. Here's the selected radial. It's on my right. All right. 45 degrees to it is this marker. So that's it. It's about, here we go, 315 or so. So I'm going to just turn there. Here you go. Just put it here. And I will fly in that direction, that heading. Pretty much no wind right now. You can see it's 2 knots tail until this radial comes to me, and you can see it's very nice perspective now with the HSI. You can see where you are with respect to the radial. The radial is there, and you're going to it, and you're gonna turn and catch it. Okay, So I'll fly in that heading until it starts to move, and then I'll be able to catch it. Now you can see here, it's a little bit different, right? How many marks do I have? I have only 2 here, right? Here you go, 1 and 2. So that means, because each, for a VOR, the full deflection is 10 degrees. So the first one is 5. The second one is 10 degrees or more. I don't know, like, it could be, 10 degrees or more. Instead of having like all these other markers or marks that we saw with the CDI. So that's the same thing, same scale, it's 10 degrees. So here is 10, here's 5, this is 10 or more, that's fine. Okay, so anyways, we'll fly until it comes close to us. I'm going to fast forward until it starts to move. Here we are now, the radial is coming, it starts to move, and I'm going to now start turning to catch it. Turn a little bit slowly, it's coming very slow. Turn more until I catch the radial. Here we go. And I anticipate the speed it's moving at and wait for it to come. You can see it's a little bit on the right, so I fly a little bit to the right. You can see my heading now until it's perfectly centered. And that's it. Here I am now. I'm tracking radial 270 outbound. I have a from indication. Why? Here's this the course selector, and here's the from, because this is the opposite. So it's from radial 270 outbound. I'm tracking radial 270 outbound. Okay, let's go ahead and do another example right now. Let's say intercept radial, let's say 200 outbound. Okay, great. 200. I'm on 270. I'm west of the station. I'm going to intercept radial 200 outbound. I'll go ahead and now select the course to 200. Here you go. Course is 200. And I have a from indication, not a to. So I fly 45 degrees to the radial. What is 45 degrees to the radial? There's no math. Just go 45 degrees. Here you go. Here's the radial. Selected radial. You go 45 degrees to it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a heading like this. Here you go, it's approximately 45 degrees to the selected radial. And that's it. And I fly in that direction until the radial comes to me. That's at approximately 150 or so. That's fine. And here it is. Okay, I'm gonna fly in that direction until that radial starts to move, and then I'll go ahead to the right and catch the course, which is radial 200 outbound. Okay, we'll fast forward a little bit, and we'll be right back as the radial starts to move. Okay, and here we are, we're back again, and you can see the course is moving to us. We're getting close to that radial, and we are about to intercept radial 200 outbound. It's moving very slowly. If I want to see a distance, I can just go to PFD options and DME, and it shows me the distance to nav1. Again, I highly recommend you watch my G1000 tutorial videos. It's a very good series. Covers everything about the G1000 PFD and MFD. And here you go. I'm going to start turning now to catch the selected course. Wait for it a little bit. Let it come. It's almost centered. I'm going to keep turning and try to catch it. And that's it. Here you go, folks. I'm pretty much now on radial 200, needle centered. I have a from indication. Again, I highly recommend you watch the first video one more time. It has all the basic concepts about from and to and where you are and reverse sensing and what is a radial, what is an outbound, inbound, direction of a radial, etc. Okay, so now we are tracking radial 200 outbound. Let's say now let's do something interesting, and let's do radial 1. Let's say 100 outbound. Okay, 100 outbound. I'm on 200 right now. I want to intercept radial 100 outbound. Okay, so I will pick the course to 100. is 100. What flag do I have? I have a 2 because these are two in the same direction, so I have to fly the same direction as the selected course according to the method we discussed until the flag switches, and when the flag switches I'll fly 45 degrees to that selected radial. Okay, I'm back now, and the flag will switch shortly. Here we go. It is switched. It switched from to from. So in that case, I fly 45 degrees to the selected radial. Here's the radial is on my left. 45 degrees to it is this way. Here's the marker. So it's about 0.55 or so. So I'll turn left 0.55. No math involved. I don't need to do any calculations. Everything is in front of me. All the numbers are right there in front of me. Okay, I'll go ahead now, fly that heading. We don't have pretty much any wind, like almost 2 knots from the right, 1 knot, that's nothing. So we don't need to do like major wind correction or anything. So okay, I'm gonna fly now until the course starts to move towards me, and in that case, I'm gonna turn to the right and catch the course 100. So I'll fast forward a little bit, and we'll be back when the needle or the course starts to move. Alright folks, we're back. You can see now the course started to move. We're getting close to it. So, well, we're gonna catch it before that mountain that's ahead of us. Okay, so I don't need to move really quick. I'm about 18 miles out, and it's moving very slowly. And I'm gonna turn now to catch that radio. Now the needle is pretty much centered. I have a from indication. I am on that radial, and I am flying radial 100 outbound. I'm tracking radial 100 outbound. Alright, and with that, folks, let's take a look outside. Wow, Microsoft Flight Simulator, as you know, visually is stunning. And now it's pretty much IFR capable, as I've shown you, with at least with the VOR's navigation. Also, the G1000 NXI is very capable. Again, I highly recommend that you watch my G1000 tutorial series if you're interested in using the G1000 or learning the G1000, and I have a lot of videos with live ATC on Pilot Edge, full flights, IFR procedures just like real life, utilizing G1000 NXI and Microsoft Flight Simulator. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time, part 3, or interception of inbound radials. And that's a little bit trickier, but it's going to be, I'm going to show you tricks how to do it very easily without having to do so much math or any calculations or anything at all. Just looking at the CDI or the HSI, and you'll be able to tell which way you need to go. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.